Egypt, a land of golden pharaohs and towering pyramids yet mostly endless desert. 97% of Egypt is arid wasteland, but a single force makes life possible: the Nile River. The Nile, the world's longest river, carves a green lifeline through the sand, sustaining over 100 million people. For millennia, its waters brought fertile soil, water, and a highway for trade. Without the Nile, there would be no Egypt. No pyramids, no pharaohs, no civilization. Ancient Egyptians built their world around the river's cycles, learning to predict and harness its power. Even today, nearly all Egyptians live along its narrow, fertile banks. The Nile's rhythm still governs life, from bustling Cairo to remote villages. Egypt's story is one of survival and innovation, thriving against the odds thanks to this magnificent river. The Nile remains the true lifeblood of Egypt. From the Nile's banks, a civilization rose that changed the world. The pharaohs ruled for 3,000 years, leaving behind monuments of ambition and genius. The pyramids of Giza, built over 4,500 years ago, still awe us with their scale and mystery. These were not just tombs, but gateways to eternity, built by skilled workers in organized communities. Their society's organization matched their engineering brilliance. Egypt's story is one of vision. Pharaohs dreaming of eternity, ordinary people making it real. From pyramids to the Valley of the Kings, their legacy endures, inspiring the world. This is the story of a civilization shaped by desert and river. For ancient Egyptians, the annual Nile flood was a miracle, predictable, life-giving, and essential. Each year, rains in Ethiopia swelled the river, flooding Egypt's banks and depositing rich black silt. This fertile soil transformed barren land into fields of wheat and barley, fueling Egypt's prosperity. The Egyptians called their land Kemet, the Black Land, in honor of this gift. The flood's bounty allowed them to build, create, and dream. With food security ensured, they could focus on art, religion, and monumental architecture. Every pyramid and temple owes its existence to the Nile's annual renewal. The river's gift was more than water, it was time, security, and the freedom to build a civilization. The Nile's cycle was the heartbeat of Egypt. Egyptians didn't just rely on the Nile, they mastered it. They invented the Nilometer to measure flood levels, predicting harvests and planning taxes. Canals and basins trapped floodwaters, extending the growing season and supporting more crops. The Shaduf, a simple water-lifting device, gave farmers control over irrigation. This ingenuity turned the unpredictable river into a source of stability and power. Their engineering reflected Ma'at, the principle of order and balance. Basin irrigation enriched the soil, sustaining Egypt for millennia. Their deep knowledge of the river was passed down through generations. Egypt's success was built on respect, observation, and innovation. Before the pharaohs, the Nile's banks drew early settlers seeking water and fertile land. Archaeological sites like Elephantine Island reveal some of Egypt's oldest communities, dating back over 5,000 years. The river provided everything: water, food, transport, and fertile soil for crops. Early villages were built on high ground to avoid floods, with fields on the low-lying plains. This simple planning showed a deep understanding of the river's rhythms. The Nile shaped daily life, fostering cooperation and shared beliefs. Gods and goddesses personified the river's power, weaving it into early religion. Managing the flood required leadership, laying the foundation for centralized rule. Egypt's story began not with pyramids but with small villages learning to live with the river. Their success set the stage for all the wonders to come. Looming on the edge of the desert, just miles from modern Cairo, stand the Pyramids of Giza. Built over 4,000 years ago, they represent the pinnacle of Old Kingdom power and engineering. The Great Pyramid of Khufu is a structure of almost unimaginable scale, composed of millions of stone blocks. These were not mere buildings but eternal homes for the pharaohs. The pyramid was a sacred vessel designed to protect the king and help his spirit ascend to the heavens. The Great Pyramid is a powerful symbol connecting the earthly realm with the divine cosmos. Originally encased in white limestone, the pyramids would have shone like colossal jewels. The logistics required a level of planning unparalleled in the ancient world. This national project spanned decades, involving a massive portion of the population, a statement of the pharaoh's absolute power. For centuries, the myth was that the pyramids were built by slaves. However, modern archaeology has painted a very different picture. Archaeologist Mark Antony's discoveries have revolutionized our understanding. He unearthed the remains of a vast city south of the pyramids. This was not a slave camp but a highly organized urban center. This workers' city provides insight into the daily lives of the pyramid builders. Further evidence comes from the discovery of the workers' tombs. The skeletal remains show signs of hard labor but also evidence of good medical care. Mobilizing and housing a workforce of up to 20,000 people was a logistical masterpiece. One of the greatest mysteries has always been how the ancient Egyptians moved such enormous blocks of stone. Archaeologists discovered a sophisticated system of canals and harbors built to the Giza Plateau. During the annual flood, the river's water level would rise dramatically, creating a port at the construction site. Massive barges, laden with stone blocks, could sail directly to the Giza Plateau. Workers poured water onto the sand in front of sledges, hardening the sand and making it easier to pull the heavy loads. Experts believe the Egyptians used a system of ramps to lift the stones into place. The pyramids are a marvel of precision engineering and enduring proof of ancient Egyptian ingenuity. The story of the Nile is not just about the distant past, it continues to shape lives today. On Elephantine Island near Aswan in southern Egypt lives the Nubian community. Their connection to the river is ancient and profound, stretching back long before the time of the pharaohs. For thousands of years their ancestors have lived along this stretch of the Nile, developing a unique culture deeply intertwined with the water. They are the river's traditional keepers, their lives governed by its currents and its bounty. Fishing has always been central to their way of life, a skill and a tradition passed down from father to son through countless generations, a living link to Egypt's earliest history. The Nubians have always been master fishermen, their techniques perfected over millennia. They possess an intimate knowledge of the river's secrets. One of their most remarkable methods involves using sound to catch their prey. Fishermen work in teams, with one boat creating a perimeter with a large net. Another boat then moves inside this area, with a fisherman striking a heavy wooden pole against the boat's side. The rhythmic sound travels through the water, disorienting the fish and driving them directly into the waiting net. This ancient technique is a testament to their deep understanding of the river's ecosystem and the behavior of its creatures. Their primary catch is tilapia, a fish that has been a staple food in Egypt since pharaonic times. It appears in ancient tomb paintings and was even represented by its own hieroglyph, a symbol of life and rebirth. For the Nubian people, catching tilapia is more than just a livelihood. It is a continuation of an ancient practice, a way of providing for their families just as their ancestors did. However, their traditional way of life has faced immense challenges. The construction of the Aswan High Dam in the 1960s dramatically altered the river, flooding vast areas of their ancestral homeland and forcing many Nubians to relocate. Despite these disruptions, the Nubian community strives to keep its heritage alive. They hold on to their unique language, their vibrant traditions, and their deep connection to the Nile. The fishing techniques passed down through generations are a powerful symbol of their resilience and cultural identity. On the waters of Elephantine Island, you can still witness a way of life that has endured for thousands of years. It is a quiet reminder that while empires rise and fall, the fundamental relationship between the people and the river persists, a timeless story of survival and adaptation along the banks of the mighty Nile. While civilization flourished in the Black Land along the Nile, a different way of life unfolded in the vast expanse of the Red Land. The Sinai Peninsula is a harsh and unforgiving environment. This rocky desert receives less than an inch of rainfall each year, and its landscape is a stark panorama of barren mountains and arid plains with very little vegetation. Survival here seems almost impossible, a daily struggle against the elements. Yet, for nearly 2,000 years, this desert has been home to the Bedouin people. These nomadic tribes, originally from the Arabian Peninsula, have mastered the art of living in one of the world's most challenging landscapes. The Bedouin survival depends not on technology but on ancient traditional knowledge passed down through generations. Their entire existence is a continuous search for life's most essential resources, water and grazing for their herds of goats and camels. They know how to read the subtle signs of the desert, identifying hidden wells and recognizing the faint tracks of animals. They have a deep encyclopedic understanding of the desert's sparse plant life. For instance, they know that the agram plant, a seemingly useless desert shrub, can be pounded and mixed with water to create a natural soap. This wisdom is the key to their resilience in a land where others would perish. This traditional way of life, however, is under threat. The modern world is encroaching on their ancient domains. The Egyptian government has implemented policies aimed at settling the nomadic Bedouin, encouraging them to move into permanent towns. This shift fundamentally changes their relationship with the land and disrupts the very core of their culture. Furthermore, the growth of tourism along the Sinai coast has brought new economic pressures and opportunities, pulling younger generations away from the traditional practices of their elders. The delicate balance they have maintained with the desert for centuries is slowly being eroded. The story of the Bedouin is a powerful counterpoint to the story of the Nile. It shows another side of Egypt, one defined not by the abundance of a river, but by the scarcity of the desert. Their culture is a testament to human adaptability and the power of traditional knowledge to sustain life in the most extreme conditions. As the modern world continues to expand, the Bedouin face a difficult choice between preserving their ancient heritage and embracing a new way of life. Their struggle for cultural survival is a poignant chapter in the ongoing story of Egypt's diverse peoples. Flying above Cairo, a unique culture thrives. Thousands of pigeon towers rise from the rooftops. Pigeon fancying is a widespread passion with an estimated 2 million enthusiasts. These birds are athletes and a source of immense pride, continuing a deep-rooted tradition. It's a competitive sport with complex rules. Fanciers guide their flocks and daringly capture rival pigeons. A successful capture brings victory in the neighborhood. Contests create a vibrant social scene on rooftops at dusk. Hassan Muhammad Hussein, the pigeon ruler of Giza, dedicates his life to his birds. The rooftop is a sanctuary, a place of escape. This tradition offers a glimpse into an often overlooked side of Egyptian life. The pigeon towers are a unique feature of Cairo's skyline, a testament to this tradition. As pyramid building faded, later pharaohs sought a more secure place. They turned to the desolate west bank of the Nile, opposite Thebes. Here, they created the Valley of the Kings, a vast royal necropolis. Unlike the pyramids, these tombs were designed to disappear, cut into the cliffs. A pyramid-shaped peak, Al-Qurn, dominates the site, guarding the tombs below. Archaeologists have discovered at least 63 distinct tombs within this valley. The Valley of the Kings is the masterpiece of skilled workers securing eternal life. For centuries, explorers and archaeologists scoured the Valley of the Kings, uncovering one plundered tomb after another. It was widely believed that all the great royal treasures had been stolen in antiquity, but one British archaeologist, Howard Carter, refused to give up. He was obsessed with finding the lost tomb of a minor pharaoh named Tutankhamun, who ruled for only a decade. After years of fruitless searching, in 1922, his team uncovered a hidden step leading down into the rock. At the bottom was a sealed doorway, bearing the intact royal insignia. They had found it. What lay inside would astound the world and become the most famous archaeological discovery of all time. Unlike the other tombs in the valley, Tutankhamun's had remained almost completely untouched for over 3,000 years. It was a time capsule, a treasure trove packed to the ceiling with the magnificent objects the young king was meant to take with him to the afterlife. The antechamber alone was filled with golden chariots, ornate couches shaped like mythical beasts, and beautifully carved chests. It took Carter and his team nearly a decade to carefully catalog and remove the more than 5,000 artifacts. Each object provided an unprecedented glimpse into the wealth, artistry, and daily life of the pharaonic court at the height of its power. The most breathtaking discovery lay in the burial chamber itself. Here, Carter found a series of nested golden shrines, one inside the other, like a giant Russian doll. At the center was a solid stone sarcophagus. Inside that, 3 nested coffins, the innermost one made of over 240 pounds of solid gold. And within that lay the mummified remains of the boy king himself, his face covered by the now iconic golden death mask. This single object, exquisitely crafted and inlaid with precious stones, has become the ultimate symbol of ancient Egypt's glory. The sheer opulence was staggering, revealing the immense resources lavished on even a relatively minor king's burial. The discovery of Tutankhamun's tomb was a global sensation, but it also highlighted a new challenge: conservation. The sudden influx of visitors to the fragile painted tomb began to cause damage. The moisture from human breath and the dust kicked up by thousands of footsteps posed a serious threat to the ancient plaster and pigments. To protect this priceless heritage, modern conservation efforts have been put in place. Sophisticated ventilation systems have been installed to control the humidity and temperature, ensuring that the boy king's final resting place can be preserved for future generations to marvel at. This treasure is not just Egypt's heritage, but a legacy for all of humanity. While tombs were hidden, pharaohs built visible mortuary temples. These grand complexes were dedicated to the deceased king and gods. Priests performed daily rituals to ensure the pharaoh's eternal existence. Today, Visitors see these temples, sprawling stone structures that speak to the immense power of their builders.